Hi everyone, I'm Nettie K. Welcome back to my studio. Today we're going to be doing a special project for one of my viewers on YouTube. Barb went on to my nettykstudio.etsy.com site and she sent me a picture of her really cute little Cocker Spaniel named Blondie, who just recently passed away in October. So our condolences, Barb, and I hope this painting brings you some comfort. And we'll all learn something by making a lesson out of our painting of your precious dog. Okay, what I've done is I've just made a few marks onto a toned canvas, and the toning is still kind of a little bit wet, so that I can do a little bit of removing of the paint by using a paper towel, maybe a little bit of thinner, and also my new favorite thing, which is Q-tips. All right, I've been using them for a little while. They work for blending when you're doing a drawing, and they also are great for removing paint on your canvas. Let's get a little bit started. I've got a few lines that are just kind of helping me out as far as learning or establishing where the top of the head is, maybe where the eyes are going to be, the nose, the little mouth, and the chin. It's probably going to move. Well, we're going to be making a lot of adjustments, let's just say that. I have some thinner and a few different colors of paint out. Some raw sienna, burnt sienna, some transparent orange. That's a really important one. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a Q-tip and I'm dipping it into some odorless thinner. I'm going to come along here and I'm going to, let's just start in the center of the forehead. And this is the area between the eyes, and I'm going to begin by removing some of the paint with my Q-tip. And so it helps me to get the mass rather than just drawing lines. I'm taking out sections of paint and establishing more of the shape of the dog rather than drawing lines and then trying to fill it in with paint. You want to avoid that. Now I'm going to go up the bridge of the nose again and fan out into the forehead, because the forehead is coming out at you. It's picking up a lot of light. What we're looking for is really not the eyes, nose, and mouth, but the forehead and the cheeks and the chin, in order to find out where the eyes, nose, and mouth land. So that kind of gives us a little bit of a beginning there. And now I'm going to take a little paper towel and I'm going to rub out some of the legs. It's starting to dry a little bit on me, so I'm putting a little bit of thinner onto my little paper towel. And I'll just kind of mass out by removing the tone on the canvas in order to find the legs a little bit like that, and a little bit here, a little shoulder, and you can see the lines begin to dissolve a little bit. You don't want lines by the end of it. You really just want to have, you know, the dog. Dogs and people are not made up of lines. They're made up of tones bumping into tones rather than just the lines all the time. Okay, well that's a pretty good start there. I'm going to set my little rag down and my little Q-tips down for a minute. And I'm going to go ahead and run back in and pick up a brush. Ooh, there's a concept. All right, and let's see. Let's go with a little bit more of our burnt umber. Not burnt umber, burnt sienna. Boy, the raws and the burns, you know, do you ever get those mixed up? Oh yeah. This one is a brick color, a little bit of a brick color. And I've got the top of the nose. I'm going to put that little split down the middle. And then I'm going to go into a darker raw umber, and I'm going to think about this split down the middle of the nose, and then I'll figure out how much space I've got in that little fat that goes between the nostrils. And on this one, I'm going to do it this way. Now, in some dogs, I just say, you know, you've watched me do, the number 6 and the letter J. This time, I want to make sure that I get this space between the nostrils just right. And then I can kind of go back in and do the shape of the little nose like this, and the little flat area that comes around there. And this nose is not a dark brown. It's kind of brown around the edges and then a pink in the inside. So I've got a vermilion color that I'll be working with, and I'll put a little bit of brown with it brown and a vermilion, and it will make this little, and white, and we'll be making that nose out of that. So there we go. And then I'm going to come down from there and decide where the little mouth is open. It's really short, everybody. The space between the bottom of the nose and the top of the lip is a very short space. It's not as big as you think. So if it starts looking wrong, that's probably what it is. It's just you've got it too much space between the bottom of the nose and the top of the lip. So double check that measurement. Now I'm going to go into the lip area, and I'm leaving the space where the gums are sticking up. Looks like he only had a couple of teeth left or she only had a couple of teeth left by the time this photo was taken. And so I'm putting the lip on. It looks a little cartoony. It's going to look a little cartoony until we get farther along. And so I'm now going to jump back up while I've got this dark paint on my brush. Go to the top of the nose again and find there's that little shadow that's going to turn the cheek a little bit on the muzzle. And that gives me a hint as to where that eye actually is. And I'll patch that eye in, hopefully the right space, the right size, and hopefully in the right shape. So here we go. Across from that, we've got the bridge of the nose, the space of the bridge of the nose, and then there's where that other eye is. And hopefully the right shape, the right tone, and the right color at this stage. Okay, now while I have this dark on my brush, I'm going to zip down to here and kind of come down and find this dark shadow. You want to always know where your shadows are. If you've got the luxury of shadows, your painting is going to look a lot better, and it's going to be a lot easier to do. So I'm going to get a little more of this dark brown. And you can make your shadows into purples and blues and all kinds of things. This is just going to set down, make the animal sit down for one thing, because it doesn't sit down without a shadow. And here is the secondary shadow over here that I'm just kind of laying in there. And we'll get this little paw established out here. And I'll just fill this in with a little dark tonal value on this side. And it begins to kind of pop up a little bit there. Now at this stage I'm going to grab, on my brush I still got that dark color, but I'm going to also add some transparent orange. And the transparent orange, even though this is a light white dog, it's very, very warm in certain areas. And when you've got a blonde person or a blonde dog, the darkest value, of course, is going to be found in the hair. And so it really, you can get a lot of really seriously dark values. You have to have the contrast between the dark and the light in order for the light to register. So don't forget that. You can't just make the whole thing light. It's like painting a snowman on a white canvas. You're not going to be able to see it. So you want to make sure you have some dark for the light to come and bounce off of. And that's what I'm doing right now with this. Okay. Now, there is this mouth, and then along the side is another little, this is the area that makes the mouth pop off, is to put the, we're going to put the dark around it and grab a little more of that orange, put that orange over here again, and flip some of this out. This will be a nice loose painting today that we're doing. And thankfully the customer is kind of wanting it a little bit loose today. Now, while we're at it, I'd like to, let's get this nose kind of established here. I'm going to put some vermilion color into my brush with a little bit of white. This nose is a little of a pinkish orange. Maybe I'll put a little more orange in there. And we'll put some orange and vermilion and white, and we'll get that nice little pink color put into the nose. Get that kind of registering a little bit there. That's nice. And where else do I see that? Oh yeah, in the little mouth, the little gums, they're even lighter. So put that in there, in the pink, and I'll go back in a little bit later and make that more, a little more accurate. And then I'll take that light pink and put it on the top of the nose so that it makes the nose a little bit more three-dimensional. There we go. I like that pink color. I think I want to put some pink into the hair. what? Yeah, pink. Pink is a nice light color to kind of bounce off the orange. Okay, now I'm going to wipe my brush out. I've also got a little bit of cobalt teal out, and so I'm really happy about that. I'm going to put a little bit of cobalt teal with a lot of white in this next round, and a lot of medium this time. We're going to use a little medium. And I'm going to use that. This is the cool part of, I don't mean cool, yeah, cool, groovy, but this is the cool tone that will kind of pop out forward over the warm, okay? So I've got warm colors underneath, and now I'm going to put this, and this is a light teal, believe it or not. It's a very light teal, and there it goes right here into the bridge of the nose, and right around the muzzle. And so we're going to just carefully begin to shape this out. I think you can, as the brush starts emptying out, you can see just how teal that really is, hopefully. And then we'll bring it down around here in the muzzle. And because I don't know what it is, it's just a contrasting color, and so it causes the muzzle to either come forward or recede depending on what you've put next to it. So let's put a little bit more of the white into this particular color. And then I'll put in this part of the chin. And where else do I see this? I've got it here. And then I'm going to come up into the forehead as well. So we've got it branching in, and there comes the forehead. And then across the eyebrow. So let's get that. This is the bone that goes above the eye right here, and then it comes up like this, and we begin to find all these little features popping out, and I'll throw some of that into the little ear over here while I've got it on my brush, as that kind of curly hair pops out a little bit. Get a little more of that. I like it. There. Now you can see how it begins to shape it up. Just a little bit. Okay, now the face is extremely cool at this stage, and I'm going to create this lavender color by putting the teal and alizarin crimson together. Pretty neat combination. It's really dark at the beginning, so that's how dark it is. That's teal and alizarin crimson, everybody. And we'll put that into a little bit of the shadow. And let's see, I'll put a little bit over here. And it begins to shape the face by pushing the areas that need to go back or recede with the purple shadow. And I'll do this up here on the top of the head as well. I know it's strange. Hang in there with me. Okay, now I'm picked up the warm color again because it's very cool, and I'm going to go back in with that transparent orange right here underneath the chin. And we're moving up on the side of the face again. I gotta find this part of the mouth is kind of missing. There we go. And then there, now it's starting to shape out a little bit better. And warm up this. I feel like this eye is slightly over too far, so I'm gonna kind of ease it over just a little bit. Going straight up from here. Yeah, it is. It is. So again, another little adjustment. We'll move it over a little bit. There. Move those eyes together a little bit. Isn't that fun how you can just move paint around and move objects around, moving stuff? That's pretty neat. Okay, I'm going to move the body in a little bit too. And let's see, I'm going to go up here. We've got this little shape and shadow. There we go. Okay, now this area right above the mouth right here is got to have a little bit of a darker, let's get into some purple. Not too dark, but just a little bit. And then we're making some little area so that the white that we put on top of it can be seen. Remember, you have to have contrast, so you have to have a little dark in order for the light to be seen. And while we're at it, now let's go into a little lighter color and begin putting in a little bit of that little mustache. This does remind me very much of that crazy little golden retriever puppy that I did this last year or 2 years ago. I don't know. I'm losing track of time. Um, it's the same shape of head when they're when they're puppies. Now, when they get older, of course, they're not quite the same, but they look a little bit like Cocker Spaniels. And now these things look like holes, don't they? Let's do something to make ourselves a little more comfortable. Okay. Now, sometimes here's a thought: grab a Q-tip and put a little medium on it. Now, again, I'm using this Neo Mag medium, which is a gel medium, and so the gel medium, it's just interesting. It doesn't run all over the place. It's kind of why I like it. I just put a little bit of black paint onto my Q-tip, and now I'm putting it, and I'm just wiggling it around a little bit, and it's an easier way sometimes to get your pupils closer to the right size or the same size. Okay, so then I'll go in and I'll take a smaller brush, and this is a little bit of a signer brush, and now I can come in and put the black edge around these brown eyes and begin to shape them out a little bit. And instantly, the life comes into the dog. Yay! It's awesome. So, and we can tell a little bit more about what the proper size of the eye is. There! That's better. And then, if I want to get real fancy right off the bat and feel a little more comfortable about myself, I'm going to put a little sparkle right there on that side. And you know, you see the photograph, and often on a dog's photograph, the highlight will be on opposite sides of the eye. I don't usually put it on opposite sides of the eye. I'll choose which side of the eye I want to put the highlight on, and I put it on the same side. If it's on the right side of one eye, it's going to be on the right side of the other eye. All right? It's just me. I just do it. Look at that. Isn't that cute? He's just coming along so great. Now, I want to make the top of the head, I want to make these, some of these areas a little bit more contrasting to the background too. So I might put this fuzzy brush in here. I'm going to put my fuzzy brush in, and I'm going to go into, guess what, some more turquoise. Yay! I love that color. And I'm going to really get silly and make this, now I'm going to shape the head with the background. How crazy is that? Shaping the head. I don't want this looking like it's a cardboard cutout, but I'm shaping it, and then I'll fuzz out the area between the background and the hair. I'll add the hair on. This is the shadow. I'm going to, I've got brown on there, and I don't really like that, so I'm going to add the turquoise into the brown that I've got, and then I will put, I think I'm going to add that right there too. Just a little bit. I might just make this all shadow right here. Yeah, that works. Okay. So, and then I'll put a little bit of that alizarin crimson and turquoise, and I'm just going to make it really fun. This will be great. Teal and alizarin crimson shadow color is kind of nice, so I'm going to use that on that side of the leg too. Got little fat legs, but I think I got them a little too fat. There's that, and we'll put this in here to help with the curls. And I'll put that like that. There it goes. Kind of cleaning my brush off over here on this side. Now you can see it's really getting crazy and nice and loose and fun. And this is kind of what I wanted to do today. I wanted to make it more, a little more loose and a little more fun. We get so tight in our lives, don't we? We just think that that's the right way to do it, is to be perfect. And if we don't do it carefully and perfect, it's just not going to be right. Well, I'm not going to keep doing it. I'm going to just push myself a little bit and make it loose and make it happy and fun. The looser and the faster I do it, the more happy I seem to be. Okay, now down here, we're going to get into the lights again. Light, light, light. And we'll put that in and make it nice and light. And this one, actually, we're going to go back into that wonderful pink color. Pink, oop, a little too pink. Back up the train, put some teal turquoise on there. You can see how that starts to pop out. The tops of the paws are a little bit into that And I don't really want that pink as much. I'm going to take that pink off. Put that over here like this. I'm going to balance it back up with a little bit of the teal color. Counteract it because it's too pink. Look at that. Just fixed it right up. A little of that curl over here. And then I'll just keep going with it. There. Now, make that muzzle pop out. How do I do that? Well, I have a couple ways. I need to do a contrast with color. The temperature of the color sometimes helps. And also the amount of paint that I put on. When I want it to really stick out, I use the thickest paint there. You can see that coming out. So beautiful. Okay, now, I hope this isn't getting too boring for you. It's not boring for me. It's very exciting. And then I'll take my little brush down here and get the little chest curly things going on down here. I'm putting paint on, yes, but I'm also moving the paint that's already on the canvas into the subject. And then I began pushing it out to the background. So, say I've got some stuff going on up here. I want to take my little brush and morph it into the background a little bit so that it's not a dark line. That's the point of that. Okay, so now I'm going to get some more white with the teal, and we'll pick that up and go this way. All right, I'm going to move the shadow back and forth a little bit. Look at that. Shadow going into the light. And I'm wiggling my brush back. Look at what happens if I don't pick up my brush. I can blend that or fuse that together. I don't want to over blend it, but I want to fuse it together so it looks like it belongs there. And this feels like it might be just a little too fat, so I'm going to take the background and move the background in a little bit. It's starting to come together. It's just crazy, isn't it? Just crazy. I like it. Now, let's just do a little more emphasis on getting the depth here. So I've got the little mouth coming down here. I want to make this darker again. And I'm just going to re-emphasize this. So at this stage, you just start working some of the shadows and the lights, and you get the shadows as dark as they can go, and the lights as light as they can go. And make sure that your shapes are right. You just keep double checking it. And then at some point you're done. Okay, that's a really good beginning on this particular portrait. I'm going to work on this a little while longer, and then I'll come back and I'll show it to you as soon as I feel like it's getting close to being done. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Alright everybody, I worked on this painting quite a bit longer, as you can tell, and I threw some wonderfully colorful strokes of paint in the background. Now I can get away with that partly because Blondie is not a Dalmatian, okay? If Blondie had a lot of spots, I would not put a bright colorful background because it would just be camouflage. Alright, we don't want to have that. But since Blondie is very, very light colored and kind of monochrome, I can get away with making bright strokes in the background and she just pops forward. Isn't that great? I sent a photo of it to our customer and viewer, Miss Barb. Thank you so much. And wow, she loved it. Yay! I love it when that happens. I love it too. Okay. Hey, I just thought maybe I would take a moment and tell you what I'm up to this year. On the second Saturday night of each month, I am partnering up with McCall Craftworks, which is just a little art supply place that just opened up this last year. And we have been throwing paint and play with Nettie K parties. Wow, is that ever fun? We have, people just come pouring in and we supply all the paint and all the canvases, and we do this this fun thing, and I teach one project, and so we finish a painting in one evening in about 3 hours. Okay, and in the middle of it, when you're filling in different areas, I'll tell you a few stories, and it turns into a really entertaining event. And you end up with a good painting at the end. It's really, really cool. Okay, that's what I'm up to. And so, don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe to our YouTube art lessons, and that way you'll be notified the next time we meet, and I will see you again next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.